How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at my favorite coin album out there right now, and that is this Dansco 7070 United States type. Let's check it out. Alright everyone, welcome back and thanks for joining me. Like I said, we're going to check out this United States type Dansco album. This is the Dansco 7070, and the reason why this is probably my favorite album of all time, actually it is my favorite album of all time, is because of the variety. You got all these different coins and denominations and designs, and it really keeps you interested in the hobby. But don't get me wrong, I love my Wheat Penny album, I love my early Jefferson album, which both of those I'm doing really well on. I think I only need a couple coins in my Jefferson album, which I'm thinking about getting those last few coins and actually showing that album off all complete. But like I said, I love this album because of the variety, and if you've been with my channel for a while now, you know that I don't like to just collect one thing or stack one thing. For me, it's always been about variety and keeping myself interested. So let's check out what I got so far. I do apologize if it gets a little shaky. I just think it's the best way to film this video other than, having it in the tripod. But right here on the first page, it starts off with half cents, which as you can see, I don't have any half cents yet. I'm doing pretty well on this album. I've only had it for maybe 3 months or so, maybe not even that. But half cents, they're not too hard to find. They're not too pricey, but especially if you get back to here, they can get pricey. But that's what makes it so much fun, is you never know what your next pickup is going to be or what you find at your LCS that's actually in this album. But like I said, I don't have any half cents yet, but let's check it out. We got the Drape Bust, 1800 to 1808. We got the Classic Head from 1809 to 1835. And we got the Coronet from 1849 to 1857. Don't have any of those yet. But then we get down here to the large cents. Now these are cool. These are like the size of a $50. They're probably one of my favorite pennies out there, or cents, whatever you want to call them. And I do have 2 of those so far. I don't have the Drape Bust, of course. That's going to be a really hard hole to find. Fill, I mean. But it starts off with the Drape Bust, 1796 to 1807. And then we got the Classic Head, 1808 to 1814. And this is actually the oldest coin in my collection right here. This is an 1828 Coronet large cent. And the glare on the plastic is going to make it a little difficult to get a good shot on it. But that is currently the oldest coin in my collection, 1828. That is so crazy. And actually right here, this was actually my oldest coin in my collection. This is an 1846 braided hair large cent. And before I got this, this was actually my oldest coin in the collection. But I picked this up at a community auction here in our community at a live stream. And I thought it was so cool to finally get that hole filled right there. But those are the 2 oldest coins in my collection right there, those 2 large cents. So moving on, we get on to our smaller cents. Of course, I got the Flying Eagle, which I picked up one of my first times actually ever going to the LCS. This is an 1858 Flying Eagle, which those were only around for a couple years, as you can see, 1857 and 1858. And then we get into the first year of the Indian Head, which I don't have. And then we have the Copper Nickel Oak Wreath Indian Head, which I don't have, which ranges from 1860 to 1864. So that's going to be another hole. Those aren't too hard to find. They can get pricey in really good condition, but they're not too bad. And then we get on to the normal Indian Heads, which of course I have in there, and I got a pretty nice looking one in there. And then of course you got your 1909 VDB, which that's not the S, but it's the Philadelphia. But that is a VDB. We'll flip it over and check it out. And then we got a really nice, what is that, a 1956D. Looks like it's almost BU condition, really nice one. And that's what's fun about this album as well. Even after you fill a hole, you can always try to get better condition coins and replace them, and it just never ends. That's what's so much fun about it. We got the steel cent, 1943. During the war, they made them in steel instead of copper. Really cool coin right there. We got a really beautiful 1959 first year memorial. I just went with the first year memorial. You could put any of the memorial cents in there. Of course, now we're on to the shield cent, so the memorial cent is over with. And another really cool pickup I had was this 1868 2-cent piece. And those range from 1864 to 1872. And that wasn't actually that pricey. I can't remember. I think I paid about 12 bucks for it or something, but they're not too bad, and they're pretty easy to find. I know my LCS had at least, 5 or 6 of them when I was looking. And then we get on to the 3-cent pieces. We got the silver one and the nickel-clad one. The silver one looks like it ranges from 1851 to 1873. It's a little bit smaller than this 3-cent piece. And then this one is not silver. I don't have either of those, but those aren't too pricey either. This one's a little bit more pricey, of course, but let's check out the back. I bet you we won't even be able to make out that VDB. Let's see. Nope, you know what I'll do? I'll pause the video. We'll take this coin out really quick and we'll check it out. And I do encourage you guys to check your 1909s, because actually this was a coin that I did not know was a VDB until I put it under the scope. But now that I've seen it, we can pick it up on the phone. Let me get it out of there really quick. Alright everyone, so here's the 1909 VDB. We did take it out of the hole. We're going to do our best to try to pick this up on camera. But if we can't, I'll try to take a really good picture of it. But I think the best thing to be able to see is the V. And this is why I encourage you to check them all. As you can see right there, you can see the initials barely, and I'm going to show you guys a really good picture right now. Alright, so like I said guys, check your 1909s. Of course, the 1909S VDB is the really rare one that everyone's looking for, even in rough condition. That gets pretty expensive. These are a little bit more common, but as you can see, they can show up really, really faded. So check your scopes, check them with your scopes and your loops and all that. But moving on to the second page here, we got the half dimes, which I don't have any of the half dimes yet. We got the cap bust and all the different varieties of the seated liberties. Cap bust is 1829 to 1837. And then we got the 3 different varieties of the seated. The first one is the 1837 to 1859. And then you have the arrows, which is 1853 to 1855. Very short-lived. This was during the gold rush era. There's a really good reason if you want to do research on why they put arrows on the certain seated liberties. It has to do with the gold rush era. And then 1860 to 1873, the legend. And then we move on to the nickels here. I did used to have a shield nickel in my collection. They're not too pricey. These can get a little pricey over here, but I gave my shield nickel, I believe, to Coinman 5000. He made me a really awesome Morgan dollar coin ring, and we did a trade, and I sent my shield nickel to him, but of course I can always get another one. They're pretty easy to find. But as of right now, I don't have any of the shield nickels, but I do have this really cool pickup here, which I made a video on. This is the 1883 V nickel that doesn't say cents on it. So there's no 5 cents or anything like that. Let's check out the back. As you can see, the 2 different ones. That one says cents on the back of it. That one doesn't. So there's 2 different varieties on the V nickels here. And I got both of them. I got a really nice 1900 and a really nice 1883. And then the Buffalo Nickel Variety 1 1913 I do not have. Those are hard to find. And then we get on to just the normal old Buffaloes, the Variety 2. There's a 1934 in there. And then for the normal date stuff, I'm starting to put proofs in there. That's the 1938 to date. And then, of course, the War Nickel. These are 35% silver. During the war, they made them out of 35% silver from 1942 to 1945. And then on the dimes, I still need the cap bust dime. That is 1828 to 1837. I've been actually really eyeing this. I believe it's an 1833 at my LCS that has a really good price on it, and it's a really nice looking coin. Those aren't too bad, but they obviously can get pricey. Any of the cap bust can get pretty pricey. Moving on here, we got the Seated Liberty dime, 1838 to 1860. That was my first ever Seated Liberty dime right there, 1850. I believe I got it for about 10 bucks or so, so those aren't too bad. Pretty nice looking one as well. Still need the arrows. I got the legend. Then we get on to the Barber dime or Liberty Head dime, whichever you want to call it. That's 1892 to 1916, right before they switched off to the Mercury, which I have a beautiful, let's check it out, 1937, looks about AU condition Mercury dime there. One of my favorite designs ever. And then of course we got the Silver Rosies, 1946 to 1964, and of course in 1965 everything turned to clad, which like I said before, I've been putting the proofs in there, so we got a really nice 1979S in the clad spot. So here on the third page, we move on to one of the weirdest coins ever made, the 20-cent piece. Now these can get pricey. I think the cheapest I've seen them is about 75-80 bucks. They were very short-lived, 1875 to 1878. Those are pretty hard to get a hold of. They're not impossible, but of course I still don't have one. And then we get on to the quarters. We got the Cat Bust quarter, the Seated Liberty quarter. We got all three different designs on that. And here's actually one with the arrows, like I was talking about. Kind of hard to see, but you see on the date, it's got an arrow pointing each way. Gold Rush era. I'm sure someone in the comments will actually put a little bit more detail on what I mean about that. But like I said, I want to keep this video kind of short. And then we also got the motto, which isn't in there yet. And then we move on to the Barber quarter, or the Liberty Head quarter, which I got a nice toned out one. It's in pretty rough shape, but I like how it had some blue and purple up here, which the camera's not really picking up right now. But it's an 1892 Liberty Head quarter, or Barber quarter. And then really awesome is this Standing Liberty quarter, which, as you guys know, this is my favorite coin design of all time. That's my logo. And Value Hunter actually gifted this to me. And this is variety 1. And the reason you can tell that is if you look at the design on the reverse, it's a little bit different than this one. Let's flip the coin or the book over and check it out. As you can see, there's 3 stars underneath the eagle on the normal Standing Liberty quarter. And if we flip it back over, there is no stars on the variety 1. So that's how you can tell, even if you have a no date Standing Liberty quarter, always check the reverse to see if there's no stars below the eagle. That means you got a 1916 or a 1917 variety 1. Very awesome coin right there. And then of course we got a really nice 1926 Standing Liberty quarter. This is actually the very first piece of Fred mail I ever got. That's from Backyard Scrapping. And then moving on here, we got the Silver Washington quarter. Looks like we got a fairly nice 1948 Washington in there. And then I got my proof, 1989 Washington clad in there. And then we move on to the half dollars, which I need to work on the half dollars a lot, especially these older ones. All the Cat Bust I don't have. The seated halves I don't have. And I actually did a poll in my community page asking what was the coin you think I should add to my Dansco album next, my US type, and I believe seated half won. I'll have to check it out, but I think it won by a landslide. So that might be actually one of the next coins I pick up. You can find them for as cheap as maybe 25 bucks, 20 bucks, but they're going to be pretty rough. So those can get pricey. And then of course the Barber half, which I do have one. I need to put it in there. I don't know why that's out of there. I think I was looking at stuff to maybe auction off, but I do have a couple of those, so that spot is actually full. Moving on here, and of course I got my Walker, my Benji, my 64 Kennedy, and then for the clad, I could have put a 40%er in there, but I just put a 1989S. I like the 89's the year that I was born. And then what's really cool is they also have a spot for commemorative half dollars, which I do have some pretty cool ones here. We got another centennial coin from 1989, or bicentennial coin, excuse me, 1789 to 1989. Both these are proofs. I don't believe they're silver, but they're really awesome. There's a lot of different commemorative half dollars out there, but those are pretty easy to find, and they're fairly inexpensive as well. So looks like I still have a couple holes to fill on that. And then for silver dollars, of course, trade dollar is going to be super hard to find. The seated dollars are going to be super hard to fill. And we got a beautiful Morgan dollar in there. We got the Peace dollar, 1922, with some really cool toning. Eisenhower, I could fill that, but I'm looking for a proof Eisenhower. I think I'm going to put a silver proof Eisenhower in that spot. So that's the only reason I haven't filled that yet. And moving on, we are on the last page here. And of course we got the bicentennial quarter. Of course I have a ton of those, but I'm gonna put a proof bicentennial quarter there, so that's the only reason that's not filled. And then I got my proof bicentennial $50, and I got the bicentennial Eisenhower, which I'll eventually update with a proof bicentennial Eisenhower as well. And then we got the Susan B. Anthony 1979 to 1999, which the one I put in there was actually the wide rim variety, or near date. If you guys want to do a little research on that, there's actually a variety in 1979 that's called wide rim or near date, and as you can see, it looks like the rim is actually touching the date, so that's how you know that that's that variety. Pretty cool. I'm gonna put a proof Sacagawea in there. I'm sure you guys know the Sacagawea dollars, but there's a spot for those in this album. And then you can put any of the 50 state quarters in there. Of course, I chose my home state of Iowa. I'll eventually update that with the silver proof Iowa coin. And then there's a commemorative dollar, which I'm not really actually sure what goes in this spot, but I'd be happy to know. Maybe you guys let me know in the comments and I'll go check it out. But once I know, I'll check out, see if my LCS has this. But that's going to be a really cool hole to find, or fill, I mean. And then we move on here to the American Silver Eagle. I put this really cool toned out 2009 American Silver Eagle in here. So like I said, guys, very nice album. A lot of fun to work on. I'm doing pretty well on it. Some of the spots I could have filled already, but I just haven't because I'm getting creative, maybe putting proofs in some of the more modern coins. But Dansco, hands down, is definitely worth the money. If you guys don't have this album, definitely think about getting it. It's so much fun, and anyone else that has this knows what I mean. I know Jay Parker Silver Stacker just recently got a Dansco 7070, and he's done a ton of videos on it so far, which I think is awesome. So let me know what you guys think about the album. Do you have the Dansco 7070? Do you not? Are you thinking about getting it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much if you're stuck around and watched this entire long video. I really, really appreciate it. But like always, guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.